Hey everybody, this is Boom.
I'm Spice, and we've got a very special series to announce. Yes, no longer does Spice have the reins. No, the Boom series is coming out. It's like that SpongeBob spin-off, the Patrick Show they came out with. Exactly.
Oh, man.
I
hope I can be as successful as the Patrick Show.
I don't know. The jury's still out on him, and it's still the first season. I don't know if I feel like I'm the Patrick of the two of us though. It's
You can see it.
yeah, I'm a bit more dim, just a tad. Yeah, describe this brainchild of Boom for us.
Yeah, so a lot of the books that we normally read, I mean the whole podcast premise is reading books that you normally find in the classroom setting in curriculum, and oftentimes that doesn't lend itself to just fantasy sci-fi stuff that I'm into. I mean, I do like the books we're reading, but it's not a subject I've just read a lot of and know much on my own. So Spice ends up picking what we're going to read, which is fine. I'm getting introduced to a lot, but now for Fantasy Fridays, there it is.
Dun, dun, dun.
Our famous naming skills strike again.
It's so much better than homemade poetry.
I was so mad that, I mean, it is what it is, but you know, when you're bringing poetry potluck to the table,
That's the best. That is the best.
to have to follow that up with homemade poetry, it's just
yuck. I stumble on it every time I say it for
Yeah.
like the first time after a while. Like we were.
it took us a couple tries.
Exactly. We were talking to Bam backstage earlier. Is that how you would say it? Backstage.
Backstage.
Yeah. I'm
Same
just like,
room, earlier time.
yeah. I'm like, hey, would you like to record some poetry, like homemade poetry? Oh man. What do you want to get out of Fantasy Friday?
Fantasy Friday, I think it's going to be a nice departure from like the literal realm we've been in. I think it might just be a fun little way to have some thought experiments, a little outside the box. You can think more like, I guess, just little wide range thinking and interpretations of the world making and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot more room for opinion and stuff. I think it'll be cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, and it'll come out on Fridays.
Not necessarily every Friday, but when it comes out, it will be Fridays. Do you want to tell the viewers about our upcoming book for next?
Absolutely. The first up, not on deck, because it's first up. Oh God. the first up on deck.
Oh my God.
Oh Jesus. Okay, it's gonna be Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury.
Do you want to tell them anything about it? Not any spoilers or your feelings on it. Just a little feeler. Like, who do you think should read Something Wicked This Way Comes?
You know, that's a good question. The listeners of our podcast, you guys, and
Yes.
you know, well, we originally planned this episode. It was going to be a Halloween.
Oh, don't tell
thing.
them about that.
I hate to like to
don't
admit
pull
to
back
a fault
the curtain.
here, but we'll be open. So
Oh,
it's a
man.
cool, you know, it's a cool kind of uneasy feeling book. I guess it's hard to explain.
It's not. It's not horror, but it's spooky.
Yeah,
Which is-
exactly.
Yeah, it fits a very comfortable range, and it lends itself very well to adaptation. I found. I've watched a movie with it.
Oh, really?
there's a lot of like cultural landmarks that involve it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was listening to Crazy Sexy Cool, the album by TLC, because of course I was, and the final track on that album, with Andre 3000 on it and everything, is called Something Wicked This Way Comes. Although it's like spelt different.
Yeah.
It's like Something Wicked
Something.
This Way Comes.
Gotcha.
And then like you know Rick and Morty, right?
I do.
That popular sitcom that everybody knows and loves. It's got an episode called Something Wicked This Way Comes. It's about like the devil and Rick. They get in like some arguments, and I don't need to give you the details. It doesn't really have anything to do with it outside of the title. And then he makes reference to Ray Bradbury, because you know the shop that the devil runs is like giving people curses. And
gotcha. Yeah, I remember the episode.
Yeah, and he makes
now. Okay.
reference to it. It was like, you know, Friday the 13th, the series, you know, Ray Bradbury, Twilight Zone, voodoo crap magic, and that sort of deal. So it's spooky stuff, guys. If you like witches, if you're a fan of a spooky carnival, it slots very nicely into the Gothic literature genre.
Mm-hmm.
With a haunted abode. That's a big part of it. In this case, it being a carnival. Wrote a whole essay on it. Had to. I'm an animal.
So that's perfect too.
Oh,
Curriculum book mixed with Fantasy Friday.
It's a good
You're
book.
getting twice the bang for your buck, guys.
Although afterwards, who knows if it'll be a curriculum book. No idea.
Yeah, after we get done.
Boom's got the reins, dude. It's scary times
Yep.
over here on the podcast. I almost called it the potluck, like as a whole, as if this entire
coming
endeavor
over to
is a
film our
podcast.
potluck.
Yeah, well, of course.
We each bring words.
So, anything else you want to say about the new series?
No, I guess I can just kind of outline. Be ready for. I think I want to get into a little bit of classic stuff to get us started off, and then I think I'm gonna try to branch into some stuff that, like, you know, some of my childhood favorites and present day favorites. So you'll get to learn quite a bit about the kind of books Boom reads in his own time.
Do you think this might affect the mainline series? Because you think about, like, so we've done Frankenstein, which, you know, that fits pretty neatly into fantasy. Because, you know, it's sci-fi.
It could very well make it into this.
And then Kindred, obviously. And then Something Wicked we meant for the main series anyways. And now you're looking at, you already got 3 of them that, you know, were meant to be for the main series. I wonder what that'll do to how we choose books.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. It might be wise to maybe, if we have a fantasy book that we think is like a curriculum book, maybe hold off.
Like, I've been thinking about doing
like maybe further out with this one from the get-go.
Yeah, I did an audiobook of Dracula, read by Count Dooku himself, Christopher Lee. It was a good time. I think we should do that at some point. Which, fantasy, but also curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think that's the case. I think that is kind of found in a lot of like older stuff, or like
Jules Verne, same deal.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, if we have to get into
we're gonna have
Journey
to.
to Mysterious Island.
Or, you know, Bullet to the Moon. Is that a trip to the moon? I'm not sure what the.
And then that new Dune movie just came out.
Oh yeah, I've got Dune sitting on my shelf
I
collecting
know we
dust.
talked about Dune. That might be Dune might be a good one for the Fantasy Friday. 'Cause I don't know how far how much you see that in a school setting.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you have to read it for school. I mean, I'm sure people read it at school.
Yeah, exactly. I hope we don't hit a point where we do Harry Potter. I really
That's not on my horizon.
Oh God, I don't want to.
There's no need.
I don't want to touch it. I don't want to.
There's
I don't
no
even want to
need.
think about it.
Nothing I have to say about Harry Potter is gonna influence anybody's thought on it.
It's like a death of the author situation. Like, it's kind of interesting the way we kind of, like, we've discussed doing an H.P. Lovecraft series where we try and distill his racism, but J.K. Rowling's alive. Like there's nothing I can say about her that won't be potentially untrue the next day in terms of how she thinks or what she feels. And it's really, it's just an albatross on you when you try and think about it. And I'll respond to people when they're like, "Oh, I love Harry Potter." And I'm like, "Oh man, dude, like how do you feel about J.K. Rowling and the way she acts?" It's just really complicated. So we're not touching that with a 10-foot pole unless you guys beg for it and send us money. Unless you Venmo me $50. Then
if we get $50,
then
you've just paid off all of our equipment.
Exactly, with $10 to spare.
We are in your debt at that point.
Exactly. Yeah, then I'll gladly do Harry Potter. But then I'd have to buy the books, and then I'd spend all the money we'd gain from equipment money.
Man,
it's tough.
When I delivered pizzas, I think I went through all the Harry Potter books in the span of 3 weeks.
That's such a funny sentence.
I was driving it was 6-7 hours a day, just from the time I got off school until 11 o'clock, and just I was reading a book and a half a day, or every couple days.
You're an animal, dude.
The books are all right.
Sorry, guys. It took me a minute. I was trying to drink some water without having my ice cling around, and it wasn't super successful. Sorry, I was so quiet there. All right, boom. Any more closing thoughts before we go?
No, I think that's a good taste of what's to come.
Yeah. Stick around for Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury on the horizon. On that note, I've been Spice.
I'm Boom, and we'll see you later.